So first, I want to just talk a bit about how do you provide such good customer service and why do you think you get so many 5-star ratings?
Well, I guess it's part of the personality of what I've done in the past. Obviously, you had a lot of dealings with people, like just generally through paper and the school system and just clients generally over the years in the trade. So I think my background in that way has helped me to start this business. It's just all about giving good customer service. It comes back to what Jim says all the time. It's all about customer service. You give the customer what they want and they are willing to pay for the service that you provide.
Thank you for joining us today. Cameron Blair from Jim's Dog Wash up in Wodonga there. And first of all, to start off with our presentation off our Accor Silver membership, which is 2 free nights at any Accor hotel, plus a bunch of discounts, which is worth around $600 as well, on behalf of Jim's Group for being a star franchisee. So thank you very much for joining us today after I'm sure it's been a long day at work. And let's just start off with first, Cameron, a bit about yourself, what were you doing prior to Jim's Dog Wash?
I'm a trade. I've got a tradie background, furniture maker by trade. And then I was teaching my trade at TAFE before I left that and became Jim's Dog Wash.
And what prompted the change?
A few things, mainly just to do something for myself, to be honest. I had the energy to do something. I wasn't getting anywhere along the line of work that I was. Putting the energy in, but not getting nothing out of it. So prompted me to do something for myself, which was something I'd always been thinking of for years, is to start a business. It was going to be within my trade, but very hard in my trade and it takes its toll on your body and stuff. So decided not to go that way and to do something completely different. So that's hence what I've done now. So, yeah.
And how did you find out about Jim's Dog Wash? What were you doing, or what you're looking at some other things as well at the same time, maybe?
Oh, look, I always had a love for dogs. I've had dogs all my life, family pets, and got my own now and that sort of thing. So that was an interest to me. There was also interest in other sort of teaching roles and that at the same time, but it just wasn't what I was after. I just wanted something completely different out of the trade altogether. So that's why the dog wash sort of took light over everything else, I guess.
You got a brilliant star rating on the system. You got a perfect 5-star rating. You've never had a complaint. I think it's 173 5-star ratings in under where you've been going with us since mid-February. So that's a really, really good achievement. It's a really good number. It's an amazing number. So first, I want to just talk a bit about then how do you provide such good customer service and why do you think you get so many 5-star ratings?
Well, I guess it's part of the personality of what I've done in the past, I guess. Obviously, you had a lot of dealings with people, like just generally through paper and the school system and just clients generally over the years in the trade. So I think my background in that way has helped me to start this business. It's just all about giving good customer service. It comes back to what Jim says all the time. And I'm totally on board with how he says it. And it's so true. It's all about customer service. You give the customer what they want and they are willing to pay for the service that you provide. And I think I pride myself on doing a good job, always have. Got a keen eye for detail. And I think that helps as well from my background as well. So. And look, I was striving for a 5-star reward as quick as I could. It's probably come a bit quicker than I thought, but happy for it. I got a big pat on the back from Jim after the first month, so I'm like, I must be doing something right. Yeah.
Well, what did he say to you? Because I know he sends his 30-day email to everyone. So what did
he must have thought it was some sort of record. After the first month, I had 70-something, I think, in my first month. You go, wow, that's awesome. I'm like, okay, I hope that is, but I wasn't sure. I was just pushing hard, but it is what it is, I guess.
Do you know for people, Cameron, what to you then is good customer service? Because we all hear about good customer service, provide good customer service, but what to you? Do you want to outline people what is good customer service? What makes that up?
There's a few key points, I think, especially in this line of work. It is having good communication with your clients, good text message skills, making sure they know exactly what they're getting for what they're paying for, making sure you're providing the service properly, to a good quality, to what's expected, and doing follow-up as well, I think is the key thing too, just to keep all your clients on board. I guess for me, I look at it in the client's eyes, and I know if I was the client wanting a service, that's what I'd want out of it. So I think of it more in the client's eyes than the business eyes as such, and I think that's a good way of doing it. So, and I think that's how I've been so successful so far, was just thinking along those lines.
With the reviews, was it something where you asked for a review, or were they just providing them, or how did you go about obtaining so many?
So initially, it's pretty hard to start off this business, but what I did, I spent a lot of time sending out the surveys each night after I'd done my day's work. So it was fresh in their mind. They've got their dog there, it's smelling nice, it's looking awesome, and they get their survey. And I think that was the key as well to start with, to get so many good reviews. I did them properly right from that day. So I'm getting all those surveys through the next morning on my phone, getting the notification. I guess I'm pretty lucky too that people do them. Some people don't do surveys. I hate doing surveys. So I'm glad, I guess, for my clientele, it's just the way it is, but that they actually do them and they do give me a 5-star. Obviously I'm doing something right, but it's just that promptness of getting that survey out, I think, was the key.
Yeah, I think doing the follow-up as well. The follow-up text is a great thing to do. It seems like it's a little thing, but it's something that is quite important, not just in dog wash, but in a lot of gyms divisions. Hearing from people like yourself, the follow-up text is something that everyone does across the board.
Absolutely. I do it every day with all my clients still. Even regulars that I do weekly or monthly or whatever it is, I still do that follow-up. How was it? Especially if I don't see them that day, which I don't see a lot of my clients nowadays because they're not there at work. So I still do that follow. I still send them photos of the dogs when I've done them, all that sort of stuff. I think all that's pretty handy when it comes to providing the right service that the people expect, I guess, nowadays.
And how have you found the change, Cam? Because I've got an uncle who was a TAFE teacher, did TAFE teaching for bricklaying. So you can imagine the sort of the people sometimes that would come through that, and it'd be a hard class to sort of maintain. So TAFE teacher, you would have a lot of patience and fantastic communication skills to some people. So how have you found the change from doing the TAFE teaching and what you were doing prior to this?
Yeah, it's very tricky. Completely different things. So obviously, yeah, you've got to have a lot of patience, especially like what I was teaching was apprentices. So you've got that 18, 19, 20-year-old cohort that are really hard to teach anything. So that's a skill in itself. And I think that's where the client rapport has come, just from me having good skills in that way. But I guess the main difference is I don't see people as much. I'm in my trailer all day. Like, I'm by myself with dogs most of the day. I guess that's my office now, but I wouldn't change it. I'm not an office person. I guess that was my biggest downfall of being a TAFE teacher, was that you're stuck in an office. Like, being a tradie, you're never in an office. So that was quite hard. So it's nice to be out and about again. But I guess the main thing is, it's a bit lonely in your trailer, I guess. Which would, I guess, be the main difference, I guess, from my previous role.
I think we're probably underselling just how tough as a TAFE teacher to 18 and 19-year-old young men who've got a lot of attention, issues and other things going on to keep them under control.
I guess I do have a lot of patience when it comes out with people looking from the outside. How do you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I've found it quite easy because I probably do have a lot of patience, and I guess it probably helps me in that way to say hard dogs in a trailer. There's lots of easy dogs, but there's some hard dogs to do as well. So I think that having the patience just generally helps my new role. But yeah, TAFE teaching's not an easy gig.
Definitely not. Definitely not. I've heard some stories from my uncle about the bricklaying class. They're a very tough crowd.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But how's the training then, Cam? How is the training coming from something completely unrelated to doing the gym's training and going to what you're doing? How did you find that experience?
The experience down in Melbourne was good. It's really nice to have a big group of positive minds. I guess that was the best thing I probably took out of it. Like, you don't do a lot of dog training down in Melbourne. You do that more on the job. But just the training in general down in Melbourne, I just found it was a little bit overwhelming to start with. But the more I look back on it, the more that I guess there's so much you can learn. And in a short amount of time, I learned so much just about being a business owner, being a people person, and doing something for yourself that you've got to take control of. I got a lot out of all the different people that were doing the talks during that week. And I've taken a lot of that on board too. I still look back at all my notes and stuff all the time, just on different things and different ways to do things and what I should and shouldn't be doing. So definitely great. That training was fantastic. When it comes to maybe the more on-job training, I had 2 weeks in a trailer, which is what all the new gyms dog wash guys do. So I did it with one of my local gyms. That was great. It was a bit of an eye-opener, being such a different thing that I was doing. 2 weeks probably isn't enough, but it gets you a good start, I guess, on just knowing the basics of how everything runs, trying to work your day out and that sort of thing. So it was a really good starting point, but it sort of takes a couple of months, I reckon, just to get on your feet in your trailer when something new, I think. But just generally, the training was great.
Then how was the first couple of weeks then? Do you recall what they were like the first day out on the road? How was it?
Yeah, nerve-wracking, I guess. It's something different. It's something completely new. But I guess I knew it was going to happen, and I like being out of a comfort zone, which is part of the reason why I did this too, because I like being out of a comfort zone and learning something new. That's just, when it comes from a teaching background, you always like to learn something new. And this was a big learning curve, but enjoyed it at the same time. Very different, obviously, being in a dog trailer than sitting and teaching kids, but it was hard. Won't lie, it was really hard. It's easy to motivate yourself, but just hard doing a job that you don't really know a lot about. So
what was the hardest bit? Was it just maybe grooming particular breeds or some aspects of the actual grooming technical side, or what was the actual hardest bit did you find?
More the technical side. If it was a sort of dog that someone wanted a certain cut on, something that you've never done before. You're looking through your notes, and we've got a big dog Bible book that's got every dog in it and shows you and tells you how to do all that. So I'm flicking pages through that in the first few weeks. Oh, geez, I hope I'm doing this right. But obviously, I was doing something right. I was happy, but I guess it's just that thing in your head going, oh, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? I hope this is okay. But over the last few months, you train yourself to go, you know what, you're doing a good job. All your clients are happy. You're doing the best that you can do. You're getting better each day. You can see your improvement. I can see that from Feb for now, after 6 months, I see a lot of improvement. So I'm pretty happy with that. But those first couple of months, they were really hard. They were just tough just because you didn't know what you were doing. Yeah.
And what's your best advice maybe then to someone starting in the game? What would you sort of told yourself back then? Was there anything maybe different or something you would have told yourself that you wish you knew back then when you started?
Yeah, don't doubt yourself. Just go with the flow. It all comes. It all just comes eventually. Some obviously quicker than others, but it does come, it does flow. As long as you're willing to learn and maybe do the odd thing on the fly as you go, I think that's the best way to learn anything, is to just get out there and have a crack, you know. I know there's another couple of guys locally that are new, and they're exactly the same as me. We talk about it quite a bit, about we're taking too long and these sort of things, but it all comes, and we motivate each other, and we're all doing a really good job now. So it just takes a bit of time. Just back yourself.
Now, what dogs do you have at home? What breeds?
I have border collies, and I reckon probably 40 to 50% of the dogs I do are border collies.
Really? Up in the country area?
Up here, yeah. It seems like every second person has a border collie, which I'm happy for. It's great. I love them. So
yeah, they're great dogs, very, very smart, obviously, and very popular for a reason. So Cam, and I think you're booked out. I looked in the system here. It says you're booked out for 8 weeks in advance. So you're booked out for
minimum. Yeah, that was the last update. It's probably more than that now. I can probably book out the rest of my year if I
really
quite easily. But I haven't even worked out my holidays for the end of the year.
Wow.
So I could work 7 days a week and not have enough time at the moment. It is a bit time, but look, it's gone bananas. And I did my homework before I started too, and I knew it would have. I just didn't think it happened so quickly.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, you must be. Are you maybe not surprised, but are you pleased about where you are after such an early time? Because most people will say the first 12 months in business is obviously the hardest, but you're flying from what we can tell. So,
well, look, I guess it's hard to know. Look, I'm quite happy with that I'm ahead so far, that I've got so many great regular clients already. I am a little bit surprised that it's happened so quickly. I didn't think it would happen quite so quickly, especially coming into the winter months, which I thought was generally the slower period, and it just hasn't been. I guess I'm happy with how the business has gone so far. 6 months, I've got all the 5-star reviews. I've got my stickers to put on my trailer, and happy days. I don't know if it's a good thing, and everyone says, oh, you're doing so good, but I've got nothing to compare it to, so I'm just going off what everyone else is saying. If everyone thinks that I'm doing really well, then good, I'm doing really well. I'm quite happy. I'm comfortable with what I'm doing now. I'm making good money. I don't have the stress of a teaching role at the moment, so I guess I've got my life back. I've got family time again. I don't work weekends. I work a half day on a Friday. I do all my hard work during the week. Early days, I do some late nights, certain days, depending on what the family does. My life is really good. So from 6 months from then to now, I didn't think I'd be here. So I guess, yeah, business is good. Life is good.
Perfect, Cam. Well, I'll tell you from what I know, because I've interviewed around 150 franchisees. In terms of star ratings, you would be probably top 3%, top 2% within your first year. So there's something to benchmark you. So right at the top of Gyms Group franchisees. And that's a credit to yourself, mate, and what you've been able to do and all those skills you've improved from being a TAFE teacher with 18 and 19-year-old blokes, and your communication skills, obviously, you're smashing it with clients, mate. And on behalf of the Gyms Group, we'll present you with a core silver membership. You'll get an email to set up an account, so please do that. That's 2 free nights at any core hotel in the world, so not outside of Australia as well. You can go anywhere. And that's 50% of dining and all that different stuff as well. So it's a really good benefit for being a staff franchisee, mate. And really happy to see how successful you are. I would have seen you in training probably back in February, and just to see
that's right,
where you are so early, it's quite amazing. And I know it might be hard for you to benchmark to yourself to other people, but from the gym's standpoint, you're right up there, mate. So take that as a badge of honour, and well done. And thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Oh, me too, mate. Thank you for that. I appreciate your kind words. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Cam. Thanks, mate. Have a good night. No, see you.
Mate.
Thank you for listening to the episode of the Gyms podcast. If you want to learn more about the Gyms Group, head to gyms.net or call us on 131 546 Australia or 0800 454 654 New Zealand. And if you did like the episode as well, please make sure you leave a review or a comment or a thumbs up or a comment on the video as well. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.